Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Madison County Board of Education meeting for July the 13th. First, if I could get Ms. Cobb to read our vision.
Sure. Madison County Schools, in partnership with the community, strives to equip educators and students with the skills to lead by example, develop and speak with a unique voice, and explore their academic curiosity to make a positive impact on our community and world.
Thank you. As you came in, there were agendas posted at the door. If there was something that anybody would like to address the board about that was on the agenda, we ask you fill out the back of that. Good? Nobody's here for that? Okay. So next we'll move on to our consent agenda. These are items that the board sees regularly and we're very familiar with. We have reviewed them over the past week, and they include the minutes of the June 15th, 2023 special meeting, the claims, the record of superintendent's personnel actions, the leaves of absence, the 2023-2024 classified salary schedule amendments, the review of the 2023-2024 procedure updates, revised procedure 03.125, AP.21, revised procedure 09.123, AP.1, revised procedures 09.2241, AP.21, revised procedure 09.2241, AP.22, and revised procedure 09.42811, AP.1. Also included is the 2023-2024 Code of Acceptable Behavior and the Section 504 chairpersons. Are there any questions or any of these items that need to be pulled out to discuss? If not, then can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rutherford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have our monthly reports. Tonight, we have our academic report. We have Mr. James Ray, our Chief Academic Officer.
How are you all?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. Appreciate the opportunity to come and share with you all this evening. Two things we're kind of talking about going next year, and one's fitting is going to be our principal support. So we have 4 new elementary principals. We're excited about that. 3 of them had previous engagements, couldn't be here this evening. Asked Dr. Presnell to join us, though. He was able to come, and we're excited to have him at Boonesboro for this next year. We're going to year 9 education, Madison County, and going to do a great job in serving a district role as a coach for the last couple of years, and excited to have him on board and see things he'll do at Boonesboro. So looking forward to that. So speaking of that, one of the things that we've done and tried to do, you hang on up here with me, don't have to run away, I tell you, if anything happens to me, he's designated tap in up here.
We're going to ask questions, too.
That's right, absolutely. And so one of the things we try to do is really onboard these people. And there's, we've talked about teachers and what supports we're giving to new teachers and making sure they don't feel like they're on, raft somewhere, they don't have anywhere to go. And so we've really tried to do that and onboard these 4. We've tried to include them in little group messages and things like that. We've also brought them in. I've gone out to the schools and met with them, walked buildings and grounds, and just really tried to make them feel as supported as they can as they start this, just like we do for our teachers in all those different ways. So that's one of the things that we're doing from a mentoring perspective. We're also grouping each of these with somebody else that they can go to. They can have questions. They can go visit their building. They have someone to bounce ideas off of in all those different ways. So that's another thing I think will pay dividends for us. And the last thing is we're going to do some ongoing support throughout this year. The head principals, first and second year, we're going to have meetings that they're going to attend where we talk through things. We're also going to do that for assistant principals. And I think that part's vital because, we see turnover in different areas. We've got to get the next group ready. And if we can bring them together, have them share ideas and do some of those things, I think we're going to be much better off as we look forward in Madison County to the work that we've started with all those things. So that's one of the things that, we're going to do this next year, and I'm really excited because I think it will pay dividends going into the future.
That's great. Do you mind, Mr. Ray, just in case those who might be listening, can you run down the new principals in the schools that we have?
Absolutely. We have Ms. Banks at Silver Creek Elementary. Ms. Leslie Lou will be at Daniel Boone, and Trent Singleton will be at Kit Carson Elementary this next school year. So we're excited about that group. They've got a Kicking at Kit Carson event tonight. Miss Lily had a ball game that she had to be at. Miss Banks is in Lexington with her older daughter. They had an event they had to attend today.
That's great.
Other thing I have to talk about is Senate Bill 9 and some of the implications that'll have. And so Senate Bill 9 dealt with reading K through 3, and it's just trying to make sure that students are on track for proficiency. At the start of every school year, we're going to give a universal screener, which we've done in the last several years with iReady. Any student that's not on track for proficiency would get a reading plan. And all that's going to do is allow us to track intentionally, progress monitor, and make sure we have all the supports necessary in place to allow them to be successful and try and get them on track for later on. If we can get that done at an early age, that's just going to pay dividends down the line. My wife's a ring recovery teacher, so that's something that I get to hear about quite a bit at home, and the impact that that can have on our young students as they're trying to get where they need to be. One of the things that we're going to focus on is whole group and small group instruction and what that looks like. I think that's really going to pay and help out quite a bit as we're trying to close some of those gaps. We're going to do some trainings at the end of this summer for teachers. All schools are going to be able to send 3 people in for that. One of our district coaches has experience in primary. She's going to be available throughout the year and go out to model and do those different things. As we get some of the option 6 teachers that may not have some of the experiences, we need to be able to support those. And so we're going to make sure that she's available, and we're embedding other things throughout the year to make sure we're being successful in meeting those students' needs. So those are 2 of the bigger things that we kind of have going on. Obviously others, is there any questions that you all have about any of that?
So on the front end, when we test those, the reading, what grades, I know you said we do focus on those younger grades
Yeah.
so that we can get them proficient. Do we go ahead though and test throughout, what, elementary up into middle? Or?
So all the way through 8th grade, they're going to do the
Okay.
universal screener within so many days of school starting. This really got specific with the time frame. So if you are in kindergarten, it's the first 45 days of school, you have to be tested on universal screener. For 1st through 3rd grades, it's going to be in the first 30 days of school.
Okay.
So they really kind of got that locked in a little bit so that process can start. Some places, you may push that first universal screener further out. That'll allow us to go ahead and do it. And then we're going to have to give a diagnostic test. We're going to adopt FastBridge for that. And what we like about that and everything we've tried to do is make sure we keep our teachers in mind. They have a lot that they're doing, and we don't want to make it just one more thing that they have to do. If we can get things to lay on top of each other and make things a little more seamless for them, that's been our goal in everything that we've done. One of the groups that FAST has a partnership with is EduClimber, and so that's where we warehouse all our data. One of the nice things they've done, as soon as a kid takes that universal screener K through 3, if they're going to qualify for a reading plan, it goes ahead and sends something over to EduClimber with a document that's going to pre-populate information for teachers. As they're doing some of that progress monitoring, it's going to go ahead and pull all that data over into that EduClimber document as well. So that document is there, and there's having those reading plan meetings throughout the year. All that's laid out. It's easy to follow. Hopefully it's good for parents, and we're doing things that can, again, make this a better system for everybody to support.
Any other questions?
I like to hear that you guys are helping these guys out and giving them mentors. And nobody likes to take on a new role and feel like they're on an island.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad to see you guys are really going out of your way to
Well,
support them and help them. Because if you support and help them, that helps them support and help our teachers.
I agree with that 100%. And I've always said the most important thing a principal can do is hire the best teachers. I think as a district, what we need to do is hire the best principals and support them. And if they're successful, our teachers will be successful. That'll in turn impact our students.
That's great. Thank you.
Awesome.
Have
It's
they
gonna
all
be a great year.
started? Have they all started their roles like July 1st, I guess?
Well, so they were all hired before then, and as they were getting hired, I was getting phone calls and text messages. And so they were on the job way before July 1st when their actual
Okay.
date started was.
All right.
They're over here and we were going through and answering questions. I think we're here on July, or is that the second group I met with? One of the groups we met right before July the 4th on that Monday and kind of went through some different things. So, just trying to make them comfortable because there is timelines you have to meet. You have to meet with some of the safety people in the community. You have to do some of those things, and we tried to break it down. Here's the most pertinent things we need you to do, and here's some things just to get done before school starts. And hopefully that's made them feel at ease. I don't know if there's anything to that you want to speak on.
Yeah, it's been a transition, but I will say I've never felt alone. So it is, everyone's taken my call or called back or answered my email. So it has been great. And there's 4 of us in this together, so we're going through it, but we've never been alone. So it's been great to go
That's
through.
good.
That's good.
Well,
Glad to
and
hear
just
that.
know there's 5 board members that support you all too.
That's
So,
appreciated. And all the directors and the chiefs, they've been great to help with. So
Great, great. We're excited. It's going to be a great year.
I'm excited too.
Is that it?
Thank you all.
Okay, thank
very
you.
Thank you
much.
all.
Thank you. And good luck.
Next is our construction report, and first we'll have Mr. Smith from Branscombe.
Good evening. I want to give you all a report on the middle school. Got a few slides to go through, and a lot's changed. If you've not been out to the site in the last 10 days, a lot's changed in the last 2 weeks. You know, prior to, we had 3 or 4 weeks of kind of crummy weather, and it kind of delayed us on site work, but when you're in site work, you're at the mercy of the weather. So, but since then, a lot of work's went on, as you'll see here in just a moment, of what all has been done. Hopefully this video works. This is probably a couple weeks ago. This is actually, you'll see that big mound of dirt there. That is one of the shots that while they were blasting there. They've got dirt cover over the site, and you think if they're blasting, a lot of stuff's going to be flying in the air, which you don't want. But they're keeping everything covered with dirt, and that doesn't look like that did a lot, but underneath there it did a lot. So there's a lot of rock that's been moved when we started this work, so it just gives you an idea. I actually went to the site before it came over, and they were actually letting a charge off today. They've got pretty much the building pad in the front parking lot. All of that rock's been shot, and they're digging it out. So as you'll see here in just a minute, this was the drill rigs. Just a couple weeks ago, that's the front parking area. They were going around drilling their holes, shooting for the storm lines in that front parking lot area. And all that's been completed as of this point. This is, you can see how much, how much has been dug out in that front entrance up there. We've had almost 9 to 10 feet of cut in that front. So a lot of dirt's been moved in that area. That just shows there, that's Goggins Lane there where you see the trucks coming in, and you can see that excavator sitting up on the hill, and a lot of material's been moved from that original site there in the corner.
So is that where your trailer was sitting?
No, our trailer is just to the right. It's still
okay.
there. This is, if you pull in the drive, this is to the right.
Okay.
It's to the north of our trailer. That's where that is. That is at the lower part of the site. A lot of that, all of that shot rock you see there, that's what was dug out of the building pad. It's being hauled down and used for fill in that lower area towards where the athletic fields are. That's on that far north side of the site. This is standing basically towards the front of the site where the building pad is, looking towards the back. It just gives you an idea how big this site is. You know, when we started, there's a lot of trees and green grass and a lot of hills, but now that stuff is getting put to grade, you can see how massive this site is. This is that roadway that runs along the north edge of the property. You can see they're getting that roadbed built. That road will get a lot of traffic for trucks and workers, and that they're using that shot rock to build that road down through there, so it'll stabilize it so that it'll be used throughout construction. So all the material that's been shot's been used on the sites. It's all getting used. None of it's getting wasted. So it's a lot of that shot rock's coming in handy. This was a few weeks ago. You can see how much material. You can see our trailer up above that. How deep material we're having to take rock out to get down to the bottom of rock. You can see most days have had 4 or 5 of the big dump trucks running pretty much consistent hauling that material out of there. So they've made a lot of progress. You can see on top of that dirt pile, that's a D8 dozer. And if you know what the D8 dozer is, it's pretty good size, and it looks like a Tonka toy sitting up there, how much dirt they've moved out of here. This is that bank next to your all's property line over there, and that's pretty well cut to grade or running through there along that north side where that roadway is that runs next to your all's neighbor's property there. This is actually standing at the back of the site looking towards the front. This is all the way towards I think Chris, our superintendent, he was actually standing over on the developer's property shooting back, so you can see how big that site is. Those areas there where you see dirt is where one of the athletic fields are, and you can see that roadway to the left, which runs along the edge of the property. This is just another shot. This is actually standing on one of the topsoil piles looking across the site towards the north of the property. You can see the big piles of dirt that are topsoil's getting piled up. It's just a massive site of how much material they've moved since we've started. This is looking back towards that front of the site. That's one of the other athletic fields that's pretty well to subgrade This is standing on that gravel drive next to your neighbor, looking across the site, that adjacent road that runs down through there, across the property. And this is standing just on that road, looking back across the site towards our trailer, towards the front. And this is a little more updated picture, as you can see before, how much that material was there. And a lot of that material is gone at this point. It's being hauled back to the back and used for fill. The week of the 24th, the building pad should be cut to grade, barring any weather. Right now, the plan is to start the footers the week of the 31st of this month. Rising Sun will be on site. They're actually on site tying rebar now. If you go out now, the project sign's up. You'll see it there in front of the trailer, the big 16-foot, you can't miss it. It's 8 by 16, project signs up. The fence is up on the front of the property. We got signage up for hard hit areas and all that, so that's all been completed. But hopefully, barring any weather, that last week of this month, footers will begin, because the pad will be cut to grade. The water for the site is actually going to start this next week. The sprinkler contractor has his vault there. He's going to start pipe along Goggins Lane next week. So be bringing water up to the site, because probably in about 60 days, we'll need water to the site when masonry starts. So that'll get us water to the site, long as the developer gets their pipe over to us. We're starting on our end, going to the developer. So as long as they get their end done, we should have water to our site when we need it. So, you know, from the rain, it put us behind just a little bit, but hopefully we get this building pad done. That'll put earthwork contractor towards the back of the site, allow him to work, and that'll let them start on the building pad, which we need to get the footer started on that building. So like I said, the last 10 days, a lot of work's been done, and if the weather holds, it'll still continue, so.
It's definitely been an odd weather, June and early July, so.
A lot of these big storms and heavy rains.
Well, and
that
it
we've
looks
had.
like y'all made great progress in spite of the weather.
And they're doing a good job keeping the site drained, even though it has rained a lot. They're keeping positive drainage to the site, so when it does rain, it doesn't take too many days. I mean, usually they'll lose that day and part of the next one, but they're able to get back on site and get back to work. So
Right.
Allen Company's doing a good job keeping the site drained when we do get a rainfall.
Did you guys anticipate the amount of rock that was going to have to be moved?
Yes, there was a geotech report done, and everybody knew the amount of rock that was done, because that's why, they had figured blasting all of this. So we knew there would be a great deal of rock on the
That was
site.
not a joke.
Yep.
That's good.
Awesome. Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much.
Right.
And next, we have Mr. Tony Thomas. Oh. Oh, okay. I've got you on here if you want to speak. You can go next.
Good evening, everyone. I'll start the construction report at Phillips. So we have Phillips Building Phase 1, pretty much 99% complete now. And I was speaking to Merch back there. He's the site foreman for Trace Creek, and I didn't know if he was going to touch on some of this as well. But a lot of you have probably been by there and seen this. But this was, I think, about a week or so ago. It happened to be raining on that day, but standing on Georgia Street and looking back, you can see how a large portion of that is gone. This is standing back on the other side of the technology building, looking back towards Georgia Street. This is looking down the alleyway. Part of Phase 1 demolition included a couple of boiler rooms and a big storage room back there. That's all cleared up. And this is another view just yesterday of that area that's cleared up in a way there. So now it's on to Phase 2. They made good progress on this, and little tricky issues here and there because it's an old building. There's a lot of things you don't know about, but no change orders or anything like that so far. So that project went quick and is in good shape now. If we talk about Phase 2 just for a minute, as I understand it, Dr. Gillum has talked to you all about a revised plan for just the front portion of the Phillips building. So I thought I'd just show you that quickly tonight. There's no motion on this tonight. I didn't mean to push that quick. But this is looking where 2nd Street to the left, Georgia Street to the top, the entries to the left, technology building back there kind of by itself. The area along the top, along Georgia Street, is what has changed since what you, was previously approved and submitted. If we go to the right, which would be more towards the technology building, you can see all the offices have moved from where they are now to the back end of the building. And of course, Dr. Gillum and Chris Clark and they've done a good job thinking this through, because really this helps you all in terms of the process during construction. We'll phase this such that you can get this constructed, move into this area before they tear down the current offices that are there right now. So the offices have moved to the back end. The floor plan is pretty much the same, just mirrored. Of course, you have plans, storage, office space, break room. There'll be some windows in those walls. And then when you go back towards Second Street, and where that entry is to the left, that's where all the shops, those are called storage, but those are shops, for the most part, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, hardware, things of that nature. So I really just wanted to bring you all up to, no motion tonight on that, just wanted to bring you up to date on that plan that was changed. We hope to come to you at the next board meeting with final plans for Phillips Building 2 to go out and to bid.
And we saw that prelim and discussed it.
Yes,
so.
yes, and he had told me about that. And
Yeah.
I thought that they brought that to us. I
It's
thought it was a great
fantastic.
idea, and then he said that he had talked to you all at a work session. And we had kind of tweaked it since maybe you all had
Yes,
seen it.
the
so we
revised
know-
version.
Of course, Jonathan showed you a lot of pictures, so I won't spend a lot of time on this. We were able to get a drone up this morning.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's
Wow.
Goggins in the foreground there, and the trailer he was talking about, and the rest of the site looking west. And like Jonathan said, the last 3 weeks has seen a lot of progress, even though there were a couple of heavy rains in there. Just an incredible amount of earthwork has gone on. Whoops, I hit it twice. That's going all the way to the other end on the west end and looking back at the site, back towards Richmond. This is just swinging back a little bit around. You're still looking at the trailer on the right upper corner there. And this is just kind of pointing down from there. This is the back end of the site where softball and baseball will be. You can see stored material, and the gray patch there in the lower corner is the boulevard that's being put in by the developer. So lots of stored material, lots of earthwork going on. This comes back towards Goggin a little bit, and you can see the trailer and stored materials, and near the top there, you can see where Jonathan was talking about where they really are digging out a lot of dirt there and blasting the rock. So a tremendous amount of progress, and this is the shot just looking back again. I think I mentioned last time, if you're in the grandstands for the football, soccer, and you're looking west, it's just, wow, what a view you get back in that direction. And really in both directions, it's a great view all around. Great site, huge site, and I agree. I mean, right now, I don't know why we wouldn't consider this on time. You know, I mean, I think the schedule is hitting right on time right now. And rain probably did slow them down some, but looks like good progress as far as I'm concerned. So any questions on Madison Middle? Later on your agenda is the former Kentucky Tech Center renovation final plan approval. And just to be clear, this is phase 1. Of course, as we discussed, there will be a phase 2. Phase 1 really just breaks out 90% of it is the HVAC. There's some electrical, some demolition, things of that nature. I showed the color I brought up the color pictures just as a reminder of this is where we're going in phase 2. This is what the plan of the building will look like. So that the entry's down at the bottom, 2nd Street and the Phillips Building to your right. If we zoom in on where the entry is and the office, it's basically classrooms. It's mostly classrooms with a few toilet rooms there in the middle, able to add a resource room. If we go to the back half, this is where the big alteration part comes into play, where we have kitchen cafeteria. The kitchen is pretty much where automotive was. The cafeteria is pretty much where welding was. Brand new bathrooms there, and we're able to add a classroom as well. And then if we go back to where the machine shop was, of course, that's now the multipurpose room we talked about last time, just leaves the district open to the ability to do anything with that area that they want. And there'll be garage doors that open up so that if you wanted to use it as spillover for the cafeteria in the future, there's that option as well.
Question. So you mentioned
yes.
garage doors. Are those I thought we talked about like one of the movable walls in between the cafeteria and the multipurpose.
Well, where we have the moving wall is between the cafeteria and the classroom. You see that classroom just to the right? That is a folding panel wall. Now, we did early on talk about that being a folding panel wall all along there. There's some structure and roof drains there. So we broke it into two fold-up walls. We could certainly consider going back to folding partitions, but either way, we're going to have to break a section of the wall and leave it in there.
So are you calling those garage doors between the cafeteria and the multipurpose?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, and it may not show up very clearly, but just about below the word cafeteria straight down is an opening that's about 12 foot wide. There is a garage door. Just like when you go to the restaurant and where they have the patio, it'll be a glass door and you can roll it up and it'll just be a large opening. Then there'll be a section of wall and another door opening there as well. But we have to, and that's why I want to kind of bring this stuff up. This is where phase 2 is going right now. If we want to look at that a little closer, we have time. You know, if we want to make those openings bigger between the two spaces, that's certainly something we can get with. Get with Dr. Gillum, we can have that discussion and still have time to make that change. And won't affect your phase 1 approval tonight, because this technically is not in the bid. But that's why I bring this up, for these good questions as we move forward. And this is just an enlargement of the kitchen area. I already spoke with your food service director and got this kitchen equipment's all selected in the floor plan. So we're moving forward on the phase 2 plan as well. And this is where it gets a little, what was forwarded to you were these more kind of boring PDFs. So this is the stuff that's actually going out to bid and actually what you're approving. Now, this first sheet is just, we're going to put it in there as a reference for them so that they can see what the future plan is. But what is really bidding is a bunch of sheets like this. It's very engineering, very HVAC, you see lots of ductwork, lots of equipment. I blew up in a space there that's over the kitchen and bathrooms. You can see a lot of stuff going on there. So it's ductwork, grills, diffusers, controls, exhaust fans, everything associated with the HVAC equipment, including a lot of electrical as well. And here's more diagrams. These are the things you're kind of making a motion on tonight. This very diagrammatic, schematic, but very important part of the future building is all the HVAC and controls. Here's just more schematics, and there's water heaters, and there's some demolition, of course. We've got part of this will be to bid the demolition of existing equipment and lights and things of that nature. And this is just a reminder that the HVAC, you know, the district's intent to this part has been to be reimbursed, and one of the reasons that this phase 1 is being broken out. We hope to bid on August 17th. The phase 2, which will come later, is the kitchen, cafeteria, new restroom, sprinkler, fire alarm, partial upgrades to the electrical, wall insulation, windows, doors, hardware and finishes, and data. We talked about data upgrades as well. Hoping to bid September 28th. And just a reminder that phase 2 and the Phillips building and its site improvement are part of a BG1, but this phase 1 that you're approving is actually part of another BG1 tonight. So any questions on that particular item? So I know also in your agenda items, there's 3 different items for change orders. There's a change order number 3 for Clark Morris Middle School project. It's actually a credit of $9,286.65. This is, as we've done before throughout the project, kind of taking a culmination of things and put them together. They're all spelled out on your change order. Results in a credit of, like I said, $9,286.65. Then you're doing a lot of closeout change orders, and if I did my math correct, Tammy, I came up with a total credit of $14,934.11. That's at Ignite Academy North. That project is getting really close to closing out, and that's where your POs didn't completely get ordered out, so we'll close them out, and it results in a credit.
We have those all listed out, including the one for 2 cents for Lee Building Project.
Isn't that crazy?
I'm pretty impressed with your all's detail, I just have to say.
Unfortunately, we don't have a choice, because I would just kick it to the side and put it in the recycle bin.
Well, there was also one for 20 cents,
Yeah.
so.
But I
every
would
penny
pay
counts.
somebody 20 cents to make me not have to do the change order, believe me.
We spend more money on the paper to do it.
Well, and, yeah, but it's a KDE accounting thing, and Mr. Woods probably appreciates it, that it's hard to lose track of any pennies, or it throws everything
Yeah.
off. And then there is one, I must have skipped one. The first one, I'm sorry, yeah, C is approved change order number 3 to Ignite South, which is actually the one add of, $2,664. Again, we added several things together there here near the end of the project. And it only came up to 20, you still got a lot of contingencies there at Ignite South. So but when you get to those items, if you have questions, I'll be sitting right here.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we have 6A, our monthly financial reports. Mr. Mark Woods.
I think she was updating a few things on E-meeting, so it may take us just a second to get that up. All right, if you want to go ahead, you can go ahead and start talking about whatever you'd like.
All right.
Just a wee bit of technical difficulty there.
We bet a technical difficulty.
Yes.
You had these in your packet, and I can actually go ahead and talk about them if you all are ready.
Yeah. we
As of June 30th, the district ended with a reconciled balance of $118,993,878.90. On the reconciliation, you'll see that that is actually up from this time last year, but we recently had a bond sale, so that's to be expected. We have some capital outlay and FSPK that we have banked up for the year because we have to apply those to the projects as they come due. So it's expected for our balance to be up at this point. Of the reconciled balance, the district has $65,241,103.45 in investments. Excuse me. And those rates range from 2% to 5.0535%. Since we had our last meeting, we have purchased more T-bills with those. What we have done is taken that construction money, because you get that bond sale up front, so you have this big pot of money, and then your expenditures follow as you progress. So what we've done is we've taken a big chunk of that, and we have bought more T-bills. So our bonds, when they sold, we got a rate of 3.92% interest. We've actually invested that at 5.05, so we're making a margin on that to help offset some of our expenditures and everything. So that was, we went into that and looked at what we could do to help with that. So we'll see the returns on those. That was to buy 6-month T-bills. So we'll have our funds back in plenty of time. We can reevaluate as to where we're at on the project, what our cash flow needs are with that, and we can keep investing in chunks this way with the T-bills, keep them fully secured, but earn at higher rates than what we are having to pay out, and at least get a margin on that. So that's my plans to continue forward. Now, when we do that, those funds, because it is bond sales, those funds have to be put back into construction projects. But that just helps us apply cash to future projects that we're actually earning off of holding bonds. So it's working out pretty well, and like I said, I'll continue to do that with our other money that we're able to invest for our cash flow needs. I'm monitoring that. I keep reinvesting those. The best rates right now are to do the T-bills. And everything we have with the T-bills, we're at 4.95 and just a little over 5 on all of those. In addition, the board received the balance sheet and the revenue and expense report for June 30th. These are very preliminary. They are exactly how it laid as of June 30th. We're now in our crunch phase. We're doing all the extra entries, all the items that KDE sends us, adjusting entries. We're working through all of that. to get a soft close done by July 25th, because that is the requirement from KDE. And then from there, we'll continue doing adjustments as they come in, all the way up until audit. So that's kind of where we're at. You can see we hit a lot of our targets in there. We did really well with collections, tax collections and other things through there. So we did really, really well as compared to our budget, and we'll continue making our adjusting entries, and I'll have more information on kind of how the year ended at a later point.
Any questions? If not, if I can get a motion then to approve the monthly financial reports as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Coyle. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Burford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is item 6B, to approve the final plans for renovation at the former Kentucky Tech Center. Now, does anybody have any questions? Tony's available if we need him to answer. Well, he was.
I think they're
He's
probably
outside.
back there talking.
Yeah.
He is. He's out there talking to Trace Creek.
Do we have any questions? Okay. Then let's go ahead and get a motion to approve the final plans for renovation at the former Kentucky Tech Center.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Rutherford. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Burford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 6C, to approve change order number 3 for the Ignite Academy South. Any questions about that one? No. So if I can get a motion to approve change order number 3 for the Ignite Academy South Campus project in the amount of $2,664.62.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 6D, to approve change order number 3 for the Clark Morris Middle School project. Any questions? No? Then if I can get a motion to approve change order number 3 for Clark Morris Middle School project for the credit amount of $9,286.65.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Rutherford. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Burford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 6C, to approve change orders to close out the purchase orders Ignite Academy North. And that's, I can read through all of them, but we have a total of $14,931.11. Any questions? If not, if I can get a motion to approve change orders to close out purchase orders for Ignite Academy North for the credit amount of $14,934.11 as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Burford. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda is item 6F, to approve the second reading of the 2023-2024 policy updates and revised policies 03.121 and 03.221. And this is the second time we've seen these. Does anybody have any more questions? Nope. If not, if I can get a motion to approve the second reading of the 2023-2024 policy updates and revised policies 03.121 and 03.221.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rutherford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 6G, to approve antivirus and endpoint disaster recovery software. I know our Director of IT is not here. Are there any questions on here, or do you want to say anything about it, Dr. Gillum?
Yeah, this one, so we're on
G.
G.
The antivirus and the endpoint, that's our purchase through Palo Alto. That's our antivirus piece. And we have to have antivirus across our network. And then the endpoint disaster recovery software, that's the backups for our servers. And then the ability to, it's basically kind of an insurance policy where they will, if we have something major with their servers, they will come in and overnight get those servers back up and replace them or whatever. So all of that is through.
We do it every
We do
year.
that. This is an annual renewal, yes.
Any questions? If not, if I can get a motion to approve the purchase of Palo Alto antivirus and endpoint disaster recovery software from Coverage One as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Burford. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Cobb, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 6H, to approve the Illuminate Education Incorporated PO.
I can speak on this one too. This is for our EduClimber software. You heard Mr. Ray mention that in his instruction report. The EduClimber pulls data from across our district on different data points and pulls it in. It's really going to be beneficial this coming year to assist with those reading plans. This was part of our ESSER plan, so this is being paid for with those ESSER dollars. We approved the purchase of it in our plan for the 4 years of our ESSER plan.
Any questions? It's great use for that ESSER funds. If not, if I can get a motion to approve the purchase order to Illuminate Education Incorporated for EduClimber software license in the amount of $63,157.56. So moved by Ms. Coyle. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rutherford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 6I, Extreme Networks Maintenance Contract Renewal.
This is the maintenance contract on our network itself, okay? So this is for our network, and this is part of our KETS funding, and this is through a KDE contract and paid for with KETS funding, so.
Any questions? If not, if I can get a motion to approve Extreme Networks Maintenance Contract Renewal in the amount of $48,893.16 as presented. So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 6J, to approve Frontline Technologies renewal.
This is the Frontline is our platform that we have, where we house all of our SubFinder pieces, as well, which is not, it's more than just SubFinder, it's actually our absence management system. So when an employee is absent, they put that in there, and it's, we utilize that to double check our records on attendance and sick days and so forth. And then also our entire evaluation system, the documents, all of the workflow through that is housed in this Frontline platform. It's a different level of that platform. So we've been using this for a few years now. We've used a SubFinder system for several years, but Frontline's been with us for about 5 or 6 years. So this is just the annual renewal of that.
Any questions? If not, if I can get a motion to approve Frontline Technologies renewal in the amount of $51,778.02 as presented. So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rutherford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 6K, to approve request of kindergarten early entrance. Do you want to?
This is for those folks who request to early entrance into kindergarten. The state has regulations set up, and then our district has to develop a specific plan for our district. But for those folks that meet those qualifications, we have the ability to accept them early into kindergarten. I think we have 4 here, and I recommend that they be approved.
Any questions? If not, can I get a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation and approve the 4 requests for early entrance into kindergarten as presented? So moved by Ms. Coyle. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Burford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 6L, to create and ratify a special education teacher position.
The purpose of this position is to work with students in terms of life skills and employability skills. We've had this type of position for the last several years in some shape, form, or fashion. We're just wanting to go ahead and create that. That is one of our indicators that we must meet in order to maintain federal funds, is the things referred to as indicator 4, but it's the transition to life skills.
Where will that position be based?
It will be based out of our special ed department, but they
Oh,
will
work
have
with them.
students,
Okay.
they will have a list of students. Most of those are going to be our high school students.
Okay.
Now, they will also do some activities with middle school throughout the year, but mainly it's working with our high school students, setting up those job-embedded learning opportunities, that type of thing, yeah.
Any other questions? If not, if I can get a motion to create and ratify a special education teacher position, district employment specialist.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Rutherford. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Cobb. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 6M, to create and ratify a district equal opportunity coordinator position and approve the job description. Any questions about that? Everybody had the opportunity to review? If not, if I can get a motion then to create and ratify the district equal opportunity coordinator position and approve the job description for this position. So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rutherford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 6N, to create 2 increments for the district equal opportunity coordinator position. Do you want to speak to that?
Yes, in addition to an individual, we will have 2 folks who will, as part of their, in addition to their regular duties, will also serve in this capacity. So wishing to create 2 increments of $2,500 apiece for the 2 individuals for the additional work responsibilities.
Any questions?
I do. So these 2 people, they will have to apply. They won't just be selected or,
Yes, it's an increment they would have to apply for.
okay, that's what I wanted to make sure everybody understood that.
Any other questions? If not, if I can get a motion to create 2 increments of $2,500 each for the district equal opportunity coordinator position. So moved by Ms. Cobb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 6O, approve district funding assurances. We do this every single year.
Every year you have that list of things. Those are all the things that the state and the federal government say these are the laws and regulations, and you have to acknowledge that you'll abide by them, so.
Any questions? If not, if I can get a motion then to approve assurances listed in the Kentucky Department of Education District Funding Assurances document as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Rutherford. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Burford. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is item 7, our superintendent's report.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're already into July. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. And I want to express, first of all, how thankful I am for our country, for our freedom, and that we live in a country that promotes public education and supports education for all students. And I hope we never take that for granted. I also want to appreciate Mr. Ray for all the work. He's been pretty busy here the last little bit with our new principals and getting a lot of other things rolling as we get started for the upcoming year. You know, even though it's summertime, we're still continuing to stay busy in the school system. All of our schools offer some type of summer school program. In addition to that, our food service department has been conducting our summer feedings. Our day treatment facility at Bellevue runs year-round. That is not, they don't get summers off there. Students continue to attend throughout the summer. We've got the official start of fall sports coming up on July 15th. That's right around the corner. So all of our sports and all of our other extracurricular activities like band and our co-curricular activities like FFA and so forth, they'll be going to summer camp. So lots of stuff going on there. Our maintenance crew out there every day repairing our facilities and working. We got a lot of construction going on. And not only a lot of construction, but a lot of maintenance items where we're changing out carpets and we're, the recent storms took a toll on some of our buildings. And I really appreciate our maintenance guys. You know, when those tough times hit, they get out and hit it all. You know, it just so happens the last 2 storms have come on the weekend, so they've been out all weekend long. You know, it seems like it always happens like that, or frequently happens like that. So they were out all weekend long repairing our buildings. So we thank them for that work. Technology department been doing a lot of things. One item they're working on is upgrading our wireless access points. In fact, they did that in this building today, so they're out doing that. Our finance department, Mr. Woods, has processed 9 payrolls just over the last couple of weeks. And that's a big deal. And then on top of that, getting the budget ready and continuing to work on that, and then preparing for our audits. So our custodians, you get out in their schools, you'll see them there waxing hallways and getting everything ready. Bus drivers doing their 8-hour update trainings and getting their buses. Our mechanics are getting their buses in top shape. Preschool doing those screenings in the early kindergarten entry pieces, like we just talked about, and our principals interviewing, hiring new staff. And then on top of all of that, our teachers are doing lots of PD and lots of training for themselves. So never really a downtime. In fact, for some of our positions across the district, summer is the busiest time of the year. So I do hope all of our staff have a few opportunity to take a few days off to spend that with their family and friends and relax a little bit. But it's been a good summer so far. We still have a few weeks left, so we're appreciative of that. A few other items I'll mention. I attended the KESS Superintendent Summit in Lexington in June. And then also, most of our principals were able to attend, as well as our coaches, were able to attend a Todd Whitaker Summit. It's an event that was sponsored by Central Kentucky Education Co-op, one of our co-ops. It was at EKU on June 13th. Lots of good stuff there, so we appreciate our principals getting out to that and that opportunity. And lastly, with the help of Mr. Neely back there, and also Mr. Ray came in at the end there on Daniel Boone, we were able to work with our school councils to put 4 new principals in place. At Silver Creek, Kit Carson, Boonesboro, and Daniel Boone. We appreciate their work and appreciate the work of those councils as we consulted with them through that process. So good things happening this summer, and that's my superintendent report.
Thank you very much. Comments from the board?
I got one thing, kind of construction related, but they're widening the road at Kingston.
Okay.
So if you're traveling down 421 there, be aware, they're moving dirt, and looks like won't be long, they'll be putting down blacktop because they're moving pretty quick. So I'm looking forward to that when school starts back, having that wider road and traffic not be backed up.
Anything else?
I just want to thank everybody for doing the procedure updates. That was a lot, and a lot of reading, a lot of changes, a lot of revisions. It was a lot, so much appreciated. Everyone did a great job. It's very good. Much needed.
Anything else? Always lots going on behind the scenes. So it's always exciting to see the registration for the new kindergartners. It's my favorite thing. Get them all started. So if no other questions or comments, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Rutherford, will second it by Ms. Cobb. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you all.